Pounders, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing our third bullet of the biggest board. And today we have Nick joined with us. Nick, welcome to the live stream, man.
What's going on? You excited to get your last bullet out of the way here?
I am so far. I'm actually the exposure I have to my high stakes players so far. Um, and kind of going through and seeing, are there players that you would want doubles of this early in the year, and sort of sorting that out and getting different where you still like those players. I think that's sort of important in this 3 entry max contest.
Yeah. So my thinking going into a contest sort of like this where you only have 3 entries, I wanted to definitely be on guys that I really like. But I definitely want to also have exposures, outside, like not going all in on one player for all 3 of them, but
Mhm.
mixing in a range of guys that I like, just to make sure I have all the guys that I do want.
Yeah, and I think that's what you should be doing. You wanna be sort of all in on your guys. You want to at least feel good about your teams. But I have noticed these draft rooms are a little sharper, and as they should be. As you move up in stakes, the room should be sharper. But people are staying in their lanes more too, so you're making more correlated teams, and that also helps you feel better about your team. When you get something correct, you're gonna have a
Mhm.
better chance to advance. And these rooms, 4 out of 12, how do you attack that, versus like a BBM4 with that is only 2 out of 12?
Well, it's more forgiving for sure, but I mean, it's one thing where you can play a little bit safe with how you build your lineups, knowing that you just have to be top four to move into the next round. So if you're a good drafter, I think it's beneficial with the structure of this tournament. And then you let other people make mistakes. I made my own rankings for this contest, so I
Mhm.
basically just exit out guys that I don't want, and you let the draft
Yeah.
room take them for you.
Mhm.
Um, so if you do that, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah. And you can sort of go through afterwards and look. In every draft room, there seems to be 1, if not 2 people that probably shouldn't be there, especially like March drafting. Um, so right there, it's a 4 out of 11 advance. Like yesterday, we had an auto draft team yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I saw that, and it turned
Uh,
out pretty well.
it turned out fine, which is crazy, but I still think there was another team in that room specifically that is not competing. Like, they got boxed out at multiple positions. And if you get a team and you're weak in one spot, for me, I like that to be running back, because the darts, the unknown, you don't know who's gonna potentially be an RB1 at the end of the year. Some of those handcuffs lucking into those injury roles. But if you're weak in multiple positions, you're not looking too good. Your team's you shouldn't be that confident. And I think
Right.
you do have, one or 2 of those teams at least in every room. So this one's gonna be rough though. We're waiting on 10. We might have to jump into a regular big board on this one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
This
I would help you out, but I don't think we want to be in two drafts. We already drafted one bullet together. I think I wasn't in this. I think it was a stream I wasn't in, but
Mhm.
we're in a contest for at least one bullet, so I don't want to be in two with you, and I vice versa probably.
Oh, definitely.
It takes
Alright,
away from a potential spot to advance.
let's rip a regular one. Oh, +1.
There we
Plus
go.
1. And then we'll see in that other room if it was a pounder waiting with us. Because if it was, they'll probably end up leaving.
Help us out, guys, with this biggest board if you can.
Yeah, if you wanna join
Let's
in
have
on
some
the
fun
live
together.
stream, be my guest, and we get the 2 spot.
Nice.
We get the 2 spot luck.
So I was gonna ask you. So one of my bullets for the biggest board, I got lucky. I got the 101, which I was stoked about, and
Yeah.
I think the other one I got the 103, which I'm also stoked about. So if I get the 101 again, let's say for my third biggest board, I'm very much considering just taking CD, just not to have two CMC squads, and I think that would be right.
Yeah, I like that thinking.
Uh-oh. I think we're
All
having
right.
some technical
No,
difficulties
no,
here.
we're good. We're good. Live in 10, 9, 8. If you guys are just joining us, go down, slap the like on the live stream, hit the sub. We're gonna be doing plenty of high stakes content this off season. Maybe too much. Let's see who he wants to give us here at the 2 spot. It's gonna be CMC.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Adam just missed this room.
All right, so this is a nice little
There we
warm up for
go.
us.
Yeah, it's hey, anytime you get CMC at 2 as well, feels pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. I would be tempted to put like Bijan at the 101. Not Lamb. I don't think Lamb really belongs at the 101. Now, if you're trying to even out exposures, maybe this guy has, 8 or 9% CMC, 6, 7% Lamb. Like I'm cool with balancing it that way. I'm somehow a
I'm
love
still high
box.
on CD. I mean, in terms of that offense, I mean, nothing's really shaped out to be against CD in terms
Yeah.
of, I mean, they haven't figured out the running back situation besides Rico. So it does seem like they're going
Deuce,
to be
man.
probably
Deuce.
wide receiver heavy on that. Yeah, or Deuce. But they haven't figured out that running back room. Um, and then in terms of wide receiver competition, it's like looking like Ferguson, Brandon Cooks isn't. I don't think he's fully guaranteed a spot yet. So it's like who's the competition against CD Lamb on that offense? We already know
Yeah.
like Dak has a rapport with CD, obviously.
Mhm.
So like I feel like his ceiling is super high.
He has a high floor, high ceiling. Um, is Dallas gonna they have to bring someone else in. Like they're
100%.
letting Gallup go. They have to bring someone else in. Fergie, Brandon Cooks, I bet will be on the team. He started to at least shape into that role as the second favorite wide receiver target on the team towards the back late half of the season. But no, I agree. He's super safe. He's super safe. So like what you said in with the biggest board, like getting the 1 spot and 2 spot, not going the same person twice, I think I'm completely cool with that.
Yeah.
But
It's CMC for me if it's your first 101, but if you get
mm,
two of them, I think it's better to have a CD and a Lamb team just to diversify your three entries. Because
yeah,
if CMC, no one can predict the future. If CMC gets hurt, that's two bullets that you've now potentially wasted. It's hard because it's hard to recover from your 101 getting hurt, especially if it's early on.
mhm. Oh, yeah. Yep. Al asks, "How many subs are we giving out today?" Depends. However many people sign up, I'll give the sub.
The other thing I liked trying to do for the biggest board was trying to get a little bit different with like a uniqueness point of view. So in
Yeah.
one of them, I reached on Josh Jacobs, assuming that in most boards he doesn't make it back to the spot I'm in,
Yep.
um, just to separate, from having potentially the same lineups, in
Mhm.
a second, third round finals, grouping.
And what's cool about that too is, like, the time frame that this tournament's been open for, right? You sorta have to track these ADPs differently than you do the regular big board. Like, what was the time snap of, Jacobs's ADP when this
Yeah,
tournament came out? So you can get different with some of those players that have risen from their original ADP. Just kinda keep that in the back of the head. I think
yeah,
that's smart. I'm cool with one of these 2, to be honest. We got the IU correlation. It's right on ADP, but
yeah.
I'm
I'm
cool
good
with
with Adams.
Adams.
That's solid.
Adams has been a slow riser too. He started where, like 24? Around
Yeah.
24, 25 even, because it was Diggs and Adams that picked 24, 25.
Yep.
You know what? Let's go San Fran here. I know a lot of people do this. I don't think I've really gotten a stack with Debo CMC with Adams, so
Okay, I like it.
early on, though, early into these contests, I was not getting the 101 or 102. So I was on the back end drafting. Now I've been getting a ton of it's definitely balanced out. It's overbalanced. I've also gotten CMC and Lamb from 3 spot, from the 4 spot, so I've been really lucking out with,
Yeah, that's
my
wild,
exposure to these 2 guys. After that, my next highest, I believe, is Bijan in the top 7 picks.
and that's a good thing because he's been flying up.
Yeah, yeah, so I getting ahead of that is nice because now getting Jefferson at 7 and 8, just getting them at a little better price feels good right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting that small slide on JJ, I'll take that all day long, especially where I have to catch up in my exposure to JJ. So I've been enjoying that. Small victories, my friends. Small victories. Josh Allen, Laporta, Puka. What's your favorite start so far of these?
Well, I to be honest, at the start of the competition, like at the start of the drafts, I like being in the back end because I thought that like
Mhm,
Wilson, AJ Brown was like a nice cheat code for value.
mhm.
I think it still is because I AJ Brown and Wilson have slowly moved up, so it's kind of hard to obtain. But yeah, I mean, give me
Yep.
the 101 or the 102 at this point as well. Like getting CMC or Lamb, I like being on this side of the board too, and it's fun mixing in like because there are a range of receivers that I do like to switch up with.
Mhm. One interesting thing that you don't see too many people doing too with the 1-2 turn, and the only reason you do it is strictly to get a different combination, is going like Garrett Wilson with Josh Allen, because Josh Allen's never falling back to this range of 34 to 36.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say never, because someone actually posted a team with Josh Allen at 34 in our Discord last night, which is disturbing. That is an under 1% team though. I'll take my shot that they're just not in the bracket or the finals.
yeah,
Um, and then you can get the correlation. Maybe the Jets play Buffalo week 17.
yeah. This contest, it's kind of like if I was, I'm maxed out, so I can't do it at this point. But like,
Hmm.
when I told you like for the biggest board, when I reached on Josh Jacobs, his ADP at that point had settled to where it is now, which is like
Yeah.
37 or so. Oh no, it's. Could you check his ADP? Because
Allen? I
for
don't know.
Jacobs,
Jacobs. 38, but he's
yeah,
getting
but
scooped at
he
like
started he
32 pretty
started
often too.
way higher than
Yeah.
that, so it really hurts to reach even 10 picks from his ADP now because of where his ADP started, and I feel like
Hmm.
it's a disadvantage to do that kind of thing because 'cause you're competing against teams now that have these crazy, combinations of 'em, much later. But in
Hmm.
the biggest board, it's much more forgiving based on where their ADPs are now,
Yeah.
and that contest is going to fill pretty fast or faster than this one. So their ADPs
Hmm.
aren't really going to shift like too much from where they're at.
I'm okay. I'm okay with bringing Jacobs up here for a few reasons. If now doing it with Drake London and Jacobs, that
Yeah.
might be a little tougher because these are both guys that have risen multiple rounds early, and there will be a lot of better combinations, but we can sort of make more accurately correlated teams
Yeah.
now. And if Jacobs belongs in this range, let's say, I don't know, I would have Mike Evans up here ahead of like Olave and Tang or Olave and Pittman. I'd have DK up here. After those 2 guys are off the board, I'm okay with going Jacobs like over Pittman or over Olave even.
Yeah.
If they belong in that range though, and you can make more correlated teams with that piece that um, you can sort of lean into it more, right?
Yeah.
How many people are going Jacobs as their, second RB versus the first? And then this spot, I love Lamar in this range.
If you can get
I
Lamar in this range,
he's
you're feeling really nice.
he's my second highest owned QB, and we have him in the high stakes, so I'm leaning into Lamar, and it's dude, pick 43, come on. Come on.
I like a lot of the receivers in this range. I mean, Mahomes is a you could debate going Mahomes here, especially if you want to try and McBride's good.
If we don't have a RB, I'd rather go McBride over QB here.
I like that click too. And then I would be looking at a receiver again. I like the receivers in this range. Like
I'm
you could be a
cool.
Rome guy, you could be a Pickens guy at this point. Kirk, I think Terry, all these guys have a path.
Let's bring in. I still think Kirk goes too late. I would have Kirk over Pickens in this spot. It's really between Rome. Let's bring in Rome on this one. I have a ton of Kirk, so this range is fun though. Like I do think after this range, it starts to fall off pretty quick at receiver. So not getting another receiver in this range, not getting your third here is, I think, super tough to come back from. I know people are doing a lot of zero wide receiver stuff. That was so much easier before the combine. Like if you're trying to do that now,
Yeah.
dude, the teams are not the same. Like I remember I was pairing 3 early receivers like this with a bunch of middle round rookie wide receiver talent, and then at the end going like Curtis Samuel and Darnell Mooney. Like those were the teams, and that was the construction where I was like, these free agents on the back end, if they get on a team and they're the third favorite target, it's going to balance out your rookies really well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
you
you were
can't
spot
get that
on. You were
anymore.
spot on with Curtis.
And he hits a nuts landing spot. And I also think Mooney's landing spot's pretty damn good if Kirk can stay healthy, which everyone's making the bet that he is because Pitts is flying up multiple rounds. London's flying up.
Yeah, Curtis over Mooney, just because in Atlanta there's a lot of heads to feed in that offense. Like you have Bijan, you
Definitely.
have Pitts, you have London. I mean, it's still great for him, but with at least Curtis for now, it's Diggs, him, and Kincaid. I think they'll bring in a rookie too, but if we're just looking at it from right now, I like that situation better for him.
Mhm. Yeah. Chris, I think this is spot on. Like if it's the best value, if they belong in that range, I'm completely comfortable with bringing them up there.
Yeah, it's just for
Now,
me, it's just that other teams, you have to consider that, how many teams have that value, but later on. And I get it. If it's right, it's right. But
about
it's
40,
always in the back.
45.
It's always in the back of my mind, at least. I
Yeah.
mean, I grabbed a ton of Josh Jacobs early on, so I'm happy with my exposure to him. And I got him
Mhm.
where his ADP started, which is much better
Yep.
than now. So I can focus on some other players in this contest,
Mhm.
later on and not
Yep.
have to, get hit with that charge you get on them now.
So you can basically and I think that's smart from your lens where you're ahead on your exposure to a player like Jacobs that's risen multiple rounds to then leverage the field. And maybe you still end up overexposed, but at a better price. And you're getting these other players that maybe have fallen at a better price than the early drafters as well. So if you in your exposures, you're not like a balanced drafter, right? You sort of
Not
go
not for
after
the
your
biggest
guys.
not for the biggest board, at least.
Mhm.
No. I mean, sorry, not for
Mahomes at
the big board.
60. Mahomes goes at 60.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Wow. That has to be the latest I've ever seen him be,
dude,
drafted.
the Kelsey team passed on Mahomes at 56. I mean,
It's a mistake. It's a huge
why
mistake.
why go Kelsey there though? If you're not going to bring Mahomes in 8 picks after ADP.
Yeah, I don't fully understand that.
Is this guy an auto? No, he can't because he reached up for Jacobs.
Yeah, it's got to be Mahomes over Walker. It's not even close.
Interesting. Interesting. But yeah, I feel the same way when I'm overexposed, like 20% plus, especially. Excuse me. I don't mind like just being like, okay, I'm not going to click any more Mooney. I'm not going to click any more Antonio Gibson because if and those guys are bad examples because they're basically free still. Like at those later rounds,
Hmm.
it's more impactful when you rise multiple rounds early. So, what's your
And
Do you know your
You've
exposure
said
off the
this
top?
you've said this before, right, on your stream, but if you're not high on a player in one contest, like in the big board, I don't have a lot of Marquise Brown. I didn't like him. Obviously, I love him now with his landing spot, but before the unknown of it, I wasn't
Mm,
too big on
mm,
him. But I missed him definitely in the big board. And then in the biggest board, I don't mind. I love taking him because you're not competing with ADPs now. Like in this contest, you grabbing Marquise Brown, I mean, it's probably where it should be, but I just don't like competing with other teams that get him at
yeah.
like an insane value.
Mhm,
So I'm fine with passing him in that contest. Like if I still had bullets left, I might
mhm,
pass on him. But in new contests where his ADP is already settled and I'm competing
mhm.
with the same players, and we're getting them all around 72, like I'm okay with doing it that way.
I think that's smart, especially with the Marquise Brown example, because he's someone that can fail. He's not guaranteed success, especially at pick 72 around some of these other guys.
So speaking of Marquise Brown, do you want to take him?
No.
Okay.
I'm cool with one of these 2. I'm cool with just skipping receiver here, honestly. Going maybe
You don't like Jones or Stevenson for your second running back?
yeah, no, I like Jones, Stevenson, or James Conner. We can also go Kyler here too. We have CMC. We could go hero running back build.
Yeah, for me, I'm always trying to click Stevenson or Jones. I think they
Pick
I think
$74.
I think they still have good paths. Like I'm not worried about Chandler with Jones. He's
I
like far superior to Chandler.
I would be Aaron Jones over Stevenson still,
Same.
especially 8 picks after ADP, just getting a better price than early drafters feels good.
Yeah,
And, let's see, when's our next pick? Our next pick's at 95. It's I've seen Kyler fall that far, but it's not often. So he usually doesn't get past the Marvin Harrison team, which is
he's in
where?
the six hole.
Right here. Yeah, he doesn't have a QB
I
yet,
mean,
which
look,
doesn't help our
The
case.
Kelsey team passed on a falling Mahomes, so who knows what could happen, right?
Right. So maybe some of these teams are putting off QB is sort of what that would tell the room. Stroud at 60. I mean, A Rich at 66 twos seems after ADP. Why can't I spell? Yeah, 7 picks. So we'll see. There is at least there's a pattern in this room of putting off QB. And there it goes. He brings him in, waste no time at 78 to pair Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's almost expected when you pass on Kyler there. He's not coming back.
He also has a red badge, so I mean, this is intel you can get from looking at the board. Like he's
Mhm,
obviously probably been in enough drafts to know how stacking works. And then the guy who passes on Mahomes, like,
mhm.
doesn't have a red badge, so a lot of this stuff plays into it too.
True, true. You can sort of get it's like being at a poker table and you know someone's new or you know someone has experience. Doesn't mean experience necessarily means you're good, but
Yeah,
experience is experience. Now we can still target Brock Purdy at pick 95 for us. He should still be on the board. Where's the Ayuk team? Ooh, he's one pick to our right. This could be a Purdy pick here. We could get boxed at QB a little bit. We have the T-Law stack. We have your boy Daniel Jones to pair with Rome Odunze.
yeah. I mean, I'm not. It's your team, so you know how I feel. You
I
know how
love
I feel.
that. I love that. The pure confidence. He goes, "It's your team. It's your 100." This is only small one. We're still waiting to fill the biggest board. Looks like no one feels like doing high stakes at work today.
Yeah,
Sad.
that's unfortunate. It's all right.
Sad.
It's
You
a
have to
tough
change.
it's a tough draft to stream just based on how like I think on Saturday I was trying to do a draft. I sat in a room for almost 4.5 hours and I just had to call it
Did it get down to
quits.
like +2 and then everyone left?
I think the highest was like +3 and then it would it was a roller coaster. We went +3 back to +8 and then it would go, all over the place. But for 4.5 hours I just sat at my screen just like, crying. And then I threw in
Is
the
this
towel.
is this like a prop bet? Is the giant eye hit something? Okay.
Giants can go a lot of ways, man. I mean, if
You want him to trade up?
the Vikings don't trade up, with the Cardinals, there's a good chance JJ is going to be a giant. I mean, it's in the realm of possibilities, man. So
I yeah.
it
Do you
is.
want JJ?
I would take him over Daniel Jones from a future point of view. I think
Okay.
they could develop JJ a lot better than Jones, but that's just me.
Okay.
I'm also like hardcore out on Jones as a Giants fan, so I'm like hoping they can
They've
do any.
also given Jones nothing. Like the O-line's trash. The weapons, there are none.
He's always had mediocre weapons. I agree, but
Always. Like at least give him somebody.
but now
Somebody.
but now with the
They
injury
gave him
stuff,
Darren Waller.
yeah, true. But now with the injury stuff, like he's got a lot of
Yeah,
landmines to avoid to be successful, like long term.
dude.
So
Dude.
he's like a damaged bag of goods for us. Like I want him, I want him gone. I'm hoping after this season he's cap
Ah,
casualty, but we'll see. If
I
they
like the
draft JJ,
AD. I like the AD
I
click
like
here.
Fergie in this range, but you already have two tight ends, so it's not happening.
Um, I wanna bring in at least one receiver. If we wanna go double Las Vegas, we can do
I think,
that.
do you want to just get Purdy now and just make sure this guy doesn't do something rogue on us? And then there's plenty of receivers
That's fine.
we can take.
That's fine. What are your thoughts on Cortland Sutton? They get rid of Judy. It seems like Sutton's on an island right now. They'll obviously add someone to this group, but most of the big name free agents are gone that you would be worried about.
Yeah, I'm
Cortland
kind of
Sutton's someone that
I
I'm not
like him
clicking a
from
ton of,
I like him from a
but
skill
maybe
point of
should
view
be.
as a player, but I don't like the fact that I don't know who's throwing the football to him. So
Mhm.
it's like I'm just kind of out on Denver as an offense, and I'm kind of just
Mhm.
sticking to that stance until we get more information on the team.
Let's bring in Myers here. Maybe we get a little Minshew magic on the back end.
I don't
A
mind
little
that
Minshew magic.
third quarterback. Why not?
Yeah. It's gonna be a 3 QB team. When your
Yeah,
first QB is Purdy, I mean, we can target T-Law on the way back around at pick 119 should basically be at ADP. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. We're stopping at 2 tight ends. That's sort of the beauty of grabbing 2 in the first 100 picks. Even like McBride and like Ferguson, would you stop at 2 there?
Yeah, hmm I would.
I think that's sort of around the cap. You could push it. Like 18 round drafts, you're pushing that until you're pushing that probably with like Trey McBride and Jonnu Smith. I'm probably done there. Um, I still think Jonnu's like 20 picks too cheap.
Yeah, John Hughes a super value
Dude,
in my
maybe
opinion.
30. He should be up by Freiermuth. He should be ahead of Musgrave in my
Um,
opinion.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean Durham Smythe is no competition to him, right? So it's like
No.
it's really just the receivers for target share, like between Hill, Waddle. But I think he'll benefit.
Let me see my Jonnu Smith exposure here. I know I'm over Field, which this is a player that wasn't being drafted in the first 40%. He was mixed in, but what, at 1%, 2% rate
One
early
percent,
on?
1%.
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen someone click him before the news dropped, but
I wish I was taking him over like Brevin Jordan, as my third tight end. That's for sure. You know,
I'm at 12% in the big board. So already caught up to the field, past the field, and 12% where he wasn't drafted really in the first 40% is probably closer to like it's probably closer to like 16% based on the field ownership. But we're not doing a third tight end here. And I've been loving like going one tight end, maybe not even McBride, maybe even a little later in this range of like Pitts to Njoku and bringing in 3 tight ends and another one of those guys being Smith. Because if you think they're a value, you can sort of make your team around them and make that bet that they're a good value.
yeah.
And then maybe you build up your wide receivers, your running backs, you build around them.
Jonnu Smith literally went from probably being undrafted, like you said, 1%, to probably his ADP within like, I don't know, a couple weeks. Like it took no time for that ADP to get where it is. So
Right.
there's no problem with grabbing him. Like you don't have to feel bad about it. Like
Ah, man. The Zach Wilson comp. Adam's so proud of this. This is cute. This is cute. He loves his dude. Adam's been very sharp this offseason. We have to give it to him, though. We have to give it to him. It'll be interesting to see if Xavier Worthy sneaks into the back end of the first round or if he's a round 2 guy.
I mean, I've been taking some JJ, but mostly hoping that he's a Viking, not a Giant, for sure. If he's on the Vikings, I think his value is awesome with guys like Jefferson, Addison, a healthy Hawkinson. Like, wouldn't
Yes.
like him so much on the Giants. From a Giants point of view, I think it's better than Jones. But from a fantasy point of view, like give me him on the Vikings. That's the ultimate ceiling for him.
Dude, there's a lot going on there. You gotta keep up.
We got a ton of
Uh,
quarterbacks here.
we can go Justin Herbert and all his pieces go late now. You can get Quentin Johnson and probably both Palmer on this squad
I
if we
like
want to go
that.
that route.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Or we can touch it RB. We can grab Lad.
I think this is a quarterback receiver pick for sure. Probably give me Ladd or Gabe, and I'm probably a little bit more on Gabe.
Really interesting.
I think so.
Curtis Samuel at 133. This is someone that we went from what 24, 26% ownership to not drafting at all because of the rise in price.
Yeah, you got your bags full, so you're fine. Like, why draft him now when
Right.
you were able to scoop the value?
Let's go Lad here. It also feels good to bring in a rookie, whereas like Gabe Davis, we know he's going to Jacksonville. Maybe you get lucky with the landing spot with one of your QBs. So if there is a tiebreaker there, I'll lean the rookie in this case.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would like to bring in Palmer on this squad though. 143.
my
I
thing with
should line
Gabe
up.
is like, he's on Jacksonville. He's the receiver two there. Ladd has to. How many teams can he land on that are going to push him above the threshold of Davis? You think?
That's what is Davis's threshold. You're hoping for 3 to 4 spike weeks, you know?
I think it could be more now because hopefully, I mean, I think he has something to prove with Jacksonville. I think he's a little bit nicked on how his season went with the Bills. I mean, I don't know if that's a him problem. If that was a, I don't think it's a Josh Allen problem. So maybe, but
Mhm.
sometimes sometimes you just need a fresh start. That's what he's got.
I know. At the same time, there's both arguments, right? Like what landing spot's better than Buffalo, where he had the chance to be a number 2
Yeah,
and it looked like he started the season pretty well, especially his targets. His target share was up, and then he ended around like 13% target share last year as the wide receiver 2 in Buffalo.
yeah,
Just seems like he's just not a wide receiver 2 on a team, and that's okay. He doesn't need to be. In this range, again, you're drafting players like Rashid Shaheed. Um, again, this player you're hoping for three to 4 spike weeks. That's why I actually I don't love his price. This is someone that we were super on last year, and I haven't really clicked at all
yeah,
this season.
yeah. We're looking at a lot of receiver twos outside maybe Michael Wilson.
God damn it. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. We're gonna have
For
to have a
now,
Michael Wilson freaking we're gonna have to make a Michael Wilson little emoji. The naked QB. Right now we have the naked QB. Palmer or Quentin Johnson? Which one's gonna be playing over the other?
It's so like it's too
I mean,
early to tell. I mean,
they're both on the field
just
right now, but
God,
if you had to pick one,
Quentin was so bad, and I think I have a bias for Palmer because of our
do
Miami
you?
trip. Like
Do you?
I even bought a jersey for him just to pay respect for putting us over the edge. So I think Palmer's a good player. He's sneaky good, but I think this is a team that also has to bring in a receiver. Like they can't just have these two guys. So
Mhm.
depending on which rookie they bring in, I mean, we all thought Quinton was going to be something great out
Dude,
of
Lad
TCU.
McConkey, the Keenan Allen replacement. Sorry, I had to tell a story for this team.
But give me Palmer,
Okay.
man. I think we have more trust in Palmer than Quinton.
We have to go Palmer over Dotson, over Cooks, over Mims.
I like what you have though, definitely for your following picks. Like we definitely need
Yeah,
to bring in a third running back after this pick.
we'll go Palmer here, and then which of these four are your? Yeah, take Ty Chandler off the board, please. Thank you. Which one do you like?
I just don't know with Kamara. I mean, you gotta hope Kamara's out of town if you're going Miller. Um, it's for me Lloyd or Braylon.
Let's go, Lloyd.
I mean, I've been clicking a lot at Allen, but a lot of people really don't like the fact that he's only 19. But on tape, he looks so good. So
It's a little bowling
I
ball.
I might be getting sucked into that. But
I don't mind the Braylon Allen click, even though I'm underexposed. I have been picking it up a little on the back end now that some of my favorite clicks are a little more expensive. Like in this spot, Lloyd is someone that we were drafting all the way from the 200s, and I'm okay with him. I'm okay with him in this spot still, but I have been catching up on players like Estime on the back end, who fell like what around 50 something picks.
yeah. Mhm. It sucks because I like Allen and I also like Davis. So I like a guy that's super young who's 19, and I like a rookie running back that's 24. So
24 years old.
there's no in between.
I think age, though, is more of an indicator of success for receivers over running backs. Like you want your rookie receivers to be young. You want their breakout age to be young.
Yeah, I agree. I just think with I mean with Ray Davis, like if a team drafts a guy that's 24 years old, like they have to understand like his time clock is way ahead of a lot of guys, and they
Mhm.
really don't have time to develop a 24-year-old because what's
No,
his window? I mean, you're gonna have a guy sit behind somebody for 2 years. Now he's 26. I
it,
mean, it's not ideal.
it's also tough for him for getting paid, right? Like he comes off his rookie contract, and you're like 29 years old. That's that's a that's a
It's kind of like
tough sell.
it's pretty much like Pacheco, like the guys like still struggling to make a dollar on the Chiefs,
Mhm.
you know. And he's going to
Okay,
be I don't know what his age is, but he's up there by the time his contract's over.
Staffy at 156. Naked Staffy? No, he's got Kyron, I guess. Maybe goes like Davis Allen. That's nice. 19 pick drop on Staffy. That guy's scooping QB value right now. How dare
Yeah.
you? How dare you draft during work hours? Dotson falls to 160. Finally off the board. 22 picks after ADP. Yes, I would take some Dotson in this range. I'd take some Dotson. Even he just really goes into in front of like a few people that I like. I like Roman Wilson. Um, I think Palmer over Dotson's is fine. Let's see my Jahan Dotson shares. Yeah, I'm at 6%, 5.6%. which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, with Curtis Samuel out of town, it should help him, but he looked so bad last year. So it's like there's still like a bad taste in my mouth.
Hmm. Sam Howell was bad last year, though. Sam, and I think it kind of tricks fantasy football players because he was good for fantasy football. He was putting up good numbers. He was a bad QB, and he was bad for the weapons of Washington, like even Terry.
Yeah,
Um, who got there last year? Like Logan Thomas, based on ADP. It was pretty ugly. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. They had a bad quarterback room. Wasn't just Howell either. They had like a carousel of bad quarterbacks.
yeah, yeah. I think we can bring in Minshew with this group and sort of be happy with this.
Gotta pray he wins the quarterback competition there.
I'm cool with just rolling out Purdy and Herbert, though. I don't think that's a killer in a 3 out of 12
You
advance
got to go Ricky first.
because then we can go Dowdle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like outside of Ricky, like the receivers, like Demario Douglas is still on the board. Like I'd be okay with clicking on him over if we don't get Ricky, but I do like Ricky as a better option.
Yeah. My Ricky shares are insane too.
Yeah, he's my third highest, and I was clicking on him way,
18%.
way before this ADP
Mhm. Yeah, he was the last round guy. He
last
was
round.
he was he was on our draft guide's honorable mentions list,
Hmm.
going after Odell Beckham.
I think we even talked about him in our rookie, wide receiver prospect video.
Okay, Dowdle's gone. So we don't have Stevenson. I'm cool with the Gibson click or yeah,
I
let's
like
go Gibson here because
it's
we can
it's
get
Gibson or Davis, but
we can get
again,
these guys to fall back to us potentially too
at least
at
with you
191.
with Gibson, like his situation and his role on the Patriots, or what
Yeah.
at least you should project what it should be. With Ray Davis,
Mhm.
it's still an unknown with clicking him.
I think the certainty behind Gibson is why I like the click so much, like, especially this time of year to at least get a certain amount, certain amount of certainty, like that the New England Patriots should not be drafting a running back at least in the first 4 rounds when they bring in Antonio Gibson to this squad. I think that's part of the reason why I like him in my builds because you can
Yeah.
sort of factor in that he's going to get 8 to 10 touches a game.
Hmm. Yeah.
So now you pair that with another rookie on the back end here, like Estime or maybe Estime and Ray Davis, something like that, and you try to hit a good landing spot from one of those rookies, pair it with Jones and McCaffrey, and
Just so you
you're
know, I think
firing.
Adam's comment has been up on the screen for I don't know the last 5 minutes.
No, I did not know. I don't keep the StreamYard out. I keep the draft, and that's over the
Oh,
whole
okay,
screen.
that's on me. Sorry, that's on the
You're good,
co-pilot.
dude. You're good.
Um,
It's definitely
yeah,
on me,
I,
but
I I knew that with Stevenson, they definitely needed to. They had to bring in a complementary piece to him because he's not a guy that can handle 300 carries in a season.
yeah.
Like they had to alleviate some of that workload, and Gibson's a perfect piece, to do that.
Mhm. Ben says, did some deep dive research into why I was fading Barkley and Taylor. See if my thoughts were backed by stats. And he says running back and running QBs to both finish top 5 in their positions 2012, RG3, Alfred Morris, Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, 2007, McNabb, Westbrook. That's it.
I like how Adam says it was a good comment though.
In short, the reason I've been fading Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor, I think Hurts and Richardson will finish his top 5 QBs, which makes it very difficult for their running backs to get there as well. And I want to say this is more true for JT than it is Barkley. Um,
Yeah, I can't agree with the Barkley thing. I mean, I think he's in such a high octane offense now that you want players on teams that can score points. Like that's just the bottom line.
plus,
And
plus the O line, the O
you don't
line,
think you
even
don't
if
think the
Kelsey
Eagles are going to be
retires,
they're not going to be close to the goal line? much. Like, come on, dude. Like, Barkley's gonna get his opportunities to score a ton of touchdowns.
Do they tush push as much without Jason Kelsey?
I would think so. I mean, you have
Yeah, I
Barkley, so give him the ball and see what he can do. Like, why risk hurting your quarterback?
but I do think that JT could suffer from some of those goal line touches more just because the offense maybe won't be as good, right? Maybe limited opportunities compared to Barkley, where
Yeah,
Philly should be run heavy still. I don't know.
I 100% agree with
It's
that.
I would just be
I would
Barkley ahead of JT for me.
100%. Yeah.
Doesn't look like that high stakes one's gonna fill. It's all right. We'll change the dummy. We got to change the title. The clickbait right now. It's all clickbait. Yeah, right. So no Kelsey at center, and now they have Barkley. So I do think you see less tush pushes this year
Yeah.
for Hurts because you don't have to. You
And it
don't
pains
have
me,
to.
and it pains for me to say that because I should be rooting against Barkley, right? Like, he
He
he totally
left.
he totally screwed us New Yorkers. Went to our rival, it. But at the same time, from a fantasy point of view, I got to be realistic with
Yeah.
myself, and like, he should have a productive season with them.
Jalen Wright. We were I was on Jalen Wright super early. He's one of my I'm at 17%. I haven't drafted him in a little bit, even though I still think you can. I still think he has some wiggle room at his ADP. Like I'm drafting Wright over Corum. I think if you want to take the shot over Charbonnet, I would draft Wright over Gus Edwards personally. But all right, it's coming back around. We just need running backs, and I'm cool with Miles Sanders here. I kind of wish we had a rookie option, but
I also like Walker here. That's another guy.
Devontae. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's bring in Miles Sanders first.
I'm okay with Malik too, though. Like, I like Malik and Walker pretty much just as much. So
How about Zay Jones? We have Ingram though. I don't know how that
I'm not big on Zay Jones personally, but I think I'd rather one of these rookie darts.
does he get cut? Like when you bring in Gabe Davis, is it for the reason of cutting Zay Jones?
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's just that I think, like, competing against targets with Kirk, with Ingram, with Gabe, like,
But
it's
Gabe
not
doesn't get
really.
targets. That's I think that's part of the argument. It's like Gabe doesn't pull targets. And I think Zay Jones, obviously the injuries last year, but they had him out there in two wide receiver sets over Christian Kirk to start the season. So he's one that I can't figure out. He's one that I will be like at field with. I don't want to be under field. I don't want to be way over. But I do think it's in the realm of possibilities for him to get back on track in this five touchdown range. Or he
Yeah, I
could be
just wanted
cut.
I wanted to see what
So
his age was. He's 28, so he's not too old,
he's not
but
he's not a fossil.
not a fossil yet.
Dude, this team's gonna be flames. Gardner Minshew is gonna take this team to the promised land week 17 with the double stack Adams and Myers.
Have you been following, like, the news with Ricky? Some of his potential landing spots. I know Pittsburgh is in talks. So
Yeah, I saw Miami. Miami was my call out from like the opening of the big board just because he's good in motion. I think he'd be a sick fit. But
I think that would be really bad value though for him.
yeah, at 167.
No, I just don't like that landing spot against Hill and Waddle. Like, I just don't see how many
Yeah,
games can he really impact with those two guys just eating.
but I think
Like,
he fits the team.
Pittsburgh is it's him and Pickens, like, and Tomlin likes tough dudes. I think he's as tough as it gets for a receiver, man. And he's got a little thug in him.
So maybe Jermaine Burton.
Yeah, or Burden, one of those two guys. Tomlin will love him.
That's That's the thing. Like a lot of people will fit the mold of Pittsburgh, where I think what Miami is trying to do is get guys that are fast, get guys that are good in motion. Like they bring in Johnny Smith. That's why I'm so high on Johnny Smith. I think they'll use him correctly. I think they'll put him in a position that he will succeed.
Well, they haven't had a tight end that could catch a football since like Mike Gesicki, right?
Yeah.
How many years
Yeah.
ago was that?
This is a good point by Alex too. The dude had, well, he had 4 rushing touchdowns in 4 games, but he got hurt like twice. He came off the field twice, like multiple times in those 4 games.
Yeah.
So obviously he has a long injury history. If you check his injury history out, dating back in college, maybe even high school. I didn't go back that far, but maybe he does have to run the ball less in order to keep him healthy, especially for the end of season.
I
It's
mean,
interesting.
he's got to learn to protect himself. First off, he was taking some unnecessary hits, like he wasn't
Oh yeah.
sliding.
Oh
So
yeah.
like he just needs to like figure out that he can't run the ball like Michael Vick. Like he's got
Mhm.
to get down before he gets hit.
But what's nice for if you're like a Michael Pittman stan, like Joe Flacco is a good backup. Clearly, he's a top 3,
I
top
love that.
4 fantasy option to like end the season. So you
I
do
take Joe
have
Flacco over Daniel Jones right now. I'm being dead serious.
damn. But again, like Giants have to fix the O-line. They have to get receivers. Like no one is going to be successful there. It's like the Patriots. Like you put a QB in there, God forbid, you put a rookie QB in New England. If it's not Jaden Daniels, like because they need to be able to run. They need to be able to run for their life.
Right. At least you guys have a better running back on paper.
Yeah. Hey, don't be messing with Vin's Singletary. All right. Not in the live stream.
So yeah, this is definitely Minshew, right? We first take Min. He's got 3 quarterbacks, so I guess you shouldn't be. If you want to get somebody else, you should be fine.
Damn boy, like even McMillan's gone. We need what? 1 running back, 1 wide receiver. I'm kind of let's just grab Minshew here. We have the double stack. God forbid this guy goes 4.
Does Devonta Foreman interest you with his landing spot?
No, not really.
Okay,
Not gonna lie.
I like
I'm basically
AT.
I'm between one of these 2.
I definitely wouldn't. I'd stay away from Odell, but Perry seems good. Cowing, he's a rookie. That's fun.
Kind of want to bring in a year 2 guy
All
just
right,
because of having 4 rookies.
I like Perry.
Let's go AT.
How about Osborne going to the Patriots?
I actually think he's clickable now. I think he's clickable, especially
Yeah, I don't mind him.
Bourne. If Bourne's not going to start the season, 28 years old, recovering from the ACL.
Yeah,
It's
I
rehab.
think
Yeah,
I think
everyone's
KJ.
rehabs ahead of
I
schedule
think
until it
KJ could
isn't.
have a role on that team.
Yeah, he's someone that's going to be pulling what, like 4 targets a game. Like, and the type of player he is like a spike week guy. So on the back end right now, I don't think he's the worst click. If you have a ton of rookies and you want someone that's at least going to get a couple clicks, like Parker Washington, I think goes too late. I'd put Parker Washington ahead of a majority of these late round clicks.
You want a spike guy? Can I interest you in some Mac Hollins on the Bills?
I'm done clicking wide receiver 4s and 5s on the Bills though. Like it didn't work for anyone last year. I don't see it working this year.
He's the ultimate spike guy, though.
I know, but this is a team, they should be bringing in a rookie receiver, right? To
Yeah,
complement Diggs. They have to bring in someone. They have Curtis Samuel. Man,
yeah. Trust me,
they
I'm not clicking Hollins. I did it too much last season, and I got so burnt on it that
and
I'll
he was
never take him
fine.
again.
Like last year in Atlanta, though, he was like the second favorite option in Atlanta. It's just
Yeah,
like QB play was
and did
bad and no
absolutely
one
nothing.
hit. but no one hit in Atlanta. The Pitt stands are down bad. London stands were down bad. Ayuk stands. Where you at?
If you looked at Holland's stats from last year, you would think that he didn't have cleats on for all of his games. He was going into
Yes.
games bare with in his bare feet.
Dude, it was still better. It's still better than Alec Pierce. That man was out there doing cardio the whole time. He was out there just play and run. What do you think? Do you want to lean into this group of RBs and then go a 10th receiver?
No,
Or
I think let's take a bullet here on somebody. I
okay.
think a rookie is good. Isaiah Davis had a good combine.
I'm
Vidal's
not
good.
overly sold on Isaiah Davis's tape.
I know he's a little small.
A little sporadic. He's like bouncing around off guys, but like bouncing backwards.
Can Eric?
Not
I mean, can Eric Gray do something behind Singletary? Maybe.
I don't hate the Eric Gray click. Um
I mean, I think Singletary is the guy, but I mean, he could have a role behind him for sure.
Ty Johnson's an interesting one, but I still think Buffalo brings someone in. Um, they're just not satisfied at RB with just James Cook. Like
Hmm.
you saw him bring in Latavius Murray, you saw him bring in Damian Harris earlier in the offseason last year, Leonard Fournette towards the back end of the season. They're
I think a
looking
guy that doesn't
for
get clicked a
someone.
lot either is Amani Bailey out of TCU.
Okay, that now we're dropping names.
Yeah,
Now we're
he's just a
dropping
guy
names.
you could check him out. I mean, his I don't think his combine was awesome by any means, but
Someone I haven't clicked in a single big board yet, but I somehow clicked him in the biggest board. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I grabbed a Zeke share.
wow.
I think I had a couple rookies though, and wanted some sort of like give me 6 to 8 touches on a mediocre team that wants a dusty Zeke. But is there a world in which he lands in a good spot? Does he go back to Dallas?
I'm hoping J.K. Dobbins goes to Dallas. If I'm being quite honest, that's what I'm hoping for.
I think he should be in the conversation for a last pick in the 20th round. Someone that should find a home and should at least get a few carries.
Yeah, I'm good with that process.
I'm selling myself on a last round Zeke click again. Hey, you're giving
I'm
me
ready to be hurt again.
yeah. Well, not even like he wasn't even a bad click last year. He
Yeah,
was
he got a little bit lucky though with Stevenson getting hurt, but
yeah. I agree with that, but based on where he was drafted, trying to remember early offseason Z because I wasn't clicking him. He was he was at like pick 200, and then he got the New England landing spot, and he rose to what pick 160 ish,
did he
162.
really? I don't know.
Yeah,
I stayed away from him
same,
personally.
same, and he ended up being a decent advance rate guy just because on the back end, you did have the Stevenson injury, but that's what you get with some of those handcuff running backs. Like there is uncertainty. There is, the chance that they become starters. It's not
Right.
going to happen to every guy, but that's why some of those zero RB builds are so mean. Like if you had Mostert there in that range, if you had Zeke, and the list goes on, it happens a lot with running backs. But
Yep.
yes, yeah, just run straight into coverage, basically.
Run and block.
Blake Watson, name dropping, running back
Wow.
Memphis. I'll check out the highlights.
That's someone I got to check
But
out too. I'm not familiar with.
do you have time to do another? I know we have seven spots, so we're gonna have to
Yeah.
put off the biggest board.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's do another one.
Okay.
I would join you, but I can't.
Full. Oh, 12 out of 12. And okay, we get the 8. My Brees exposure is taking a hit just based on where I'm drafting. And it's tough to complain because I'm getting a lot of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. So I'd still be
Did you say that the 8th spot is, like, your least favorite spot to draft
8th
from?
spot is my least favorite. I
But
believe it's I
ho
believe it's
but when
the
you're able
yeah.
to get, like, St. Brown or Jefferson now, like, it feels good to me.
Jefferson usually goes at 7. So let's see how this goes. If it goes
What's wrong with St. Brown?
he's fine. Dude, I have too much St. Brown though. That's it. I have
I think
10%,
that's
bro,
a good problem to
10.4.
have, to be honest.
I'd rather go St. Brown. I think there's a drop off from St. Brown to Puka. But after St. Brown's off, like if it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so he won't be off. So maybe my actual least favorite spot would be 9. But
Um,
even then, when I
where are
get
we
the
throwing
9
that?
spot, I'm going AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra he has a higher floor than he does ceiling, in my opinion. He did get in the end zone 10 times last year, opposed to the 6 from 2022 when he fell on the goal line like 3 or 4 times.
I mean, dude, he feels pretty safe to me, especially if Josh Reynolds is out of
He is
town,
safe.
and
He is
it's him
safe.
and Laporta.
I don't want safe. Even though I have 10.4% of safe.
I think he's safe with like a pretty decent ceiling.
Yeah. It's it's the 9 spot that's probably my least favorite draft position. And even then, I'm reaching out for Garrett Wilson in that spot. I'm Garrett Wilson over AJ Brown and Gibbs. Just from the way I've been drafting it.
It is crazy we live in a fantasy world where we go from a player that was not drafted at all, maybe last round drafted, to in the first round within a year. But that's the world we live in.
It's so sick. It's so sick. I'm at 13.6% Garrett Wilson. He's my highest owned player in the first round.
Yeah, I'm okay with. I'm perfectly fine with that. Even with Mike Williams, I still love Wilson.
Oh yeah. Y- Yeah. Dude, the Mike Williams thing, if anything, helps Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, we got some familiar people here. We got
Yeah.
Eagles,
Yeah. Shout out to James. In the 10 spot goes AJ Brown.
so we know Eagles is sharp.
Who else? I don't recognize anyone else. Par 3 seems familiar, but is this a golf guy?
Has to be.
Big golf guy? I might have to refill the dunks here. Might have to refill the dunks. Small cup. I thought it was gonna be a single draft. Let me leave this before I forget.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to make up draft for the biggest board. Too bad. Made a fire thummy too. Made a fire thummy.
I was gonna say I liked it. The editing was sharp in it. I had my
Yeah.
name on the board and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
You're on the board.
world class editing.
Yeah. I don't have people in the shadows working for me. Unfortunately, it's everything you see here. Expected.
It's
Expected.
going pretty well, I would say.
Pick 17.
It sucks that DJ Moore is kind of fallen, but because I was scooping him a lot early on before Keenan Allen ruined that. But
I don't mind. I actually like
I
getting
still
DJ
like
Moore
him though.
sliding because now you're getting different combos versus the early drafter. We got Kyron at 17. I'm so cool with that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm light on Kyron, but
dude,
I kind of joined into like a lot of people that were anti drafting him at his ADP, and I still think he should be drafted where he is.
yes, he won. He's a sneaky free agency winner. It's a team
Yeah,
that didn't add shit behind him. You know who the RB2 right now is in LA?
Ronnie Rivers.
Ronnie Rivers, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Sneaky, sneaky
I was
free agent
drinking too
winner.
much. I was drinking too much of the Kool Aid about what the community was saying about him, and I should have probably been more on him. But there
But the
I
thing
was
is,
taking AJ Brown and Wilson and those combos over it. So I
but
guess
oh, that's fine. Those are combos that you can't really get anymore. So
right.
um that's still a sharp take because you're fading someone who is falling early. You just did most of your drafts early. So you don't get to, kind of reap the benefits of the fall in the back end.
Yeah, exactly.
but the process is still right. So like fading Kyron when he was a, pick 10 when he started, pick 10, pick 11. He started early. I want to say it's 10 ADP. That's okay to fade him early. And I think identifying those guys is what we do really well. It's identifying those people who are going to fall, who are going to rise, and you just get better closing line value than other drafters at different points in the draft season. I think that's where you really find a lot of micro edges, and those add up.
Even like my Barkley's pretty good too, and I was getting him pretty much in the third round every time. So
Mike Evans, Josh Allen, and Bijan, Dell, London, and Tyreek Hill. That's a 6 start. In my opinion, like London belongs in this range with the upgraded QB. Regardless of what happens with Kirk Cousins, I think the process of Drake London going this early is correct.
Yep.
And I had 16% when he was in the 40s. I have shares of him in the 50s, but I still think he belongs in that range. All right, this is actually kind of a cool spot. We can
We're getting
go.
the double Detroit here.
We can go Laporta here, and
Or
then
do you want to maybe get Jacobs? Actually, yeah, I'd probably be more on Laporta for this contest.
let's go Laporta, and maybe we get Cooper Kupp to fall back to us to pair with Kyron.
That's big brain here. I like it.
All right,
Double
I
stack.
was gonna say I'm gonna go fill the coffee right now, but 7 picks away. I'm
Yeah,
not as
sorry. I
fast.
don't. I
I'm
don't
not
have.
as
I don't have.
fast as I
I don't
used to
have
be.
controls. I'm sorry. I can't
I'm
pick
not
for you.
as Yeah, I just thought of like my high school speed. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got this. I got this. It's like the girls. It's like the memes of the girls doing like gymnastics on the beach. They haven't done gymnastics in 10 years and they just flop. That was gonna be me running for this coffee. Come back, auto pick like I don't know, Derrick Henry. Pick 41. We do need a receiver though. Even if Cup's off the board, I would be worried going into pick 56, 65 with just one receiver. You're praying like Terry makes it back or Kirk. And then you're clicking like BTJ is wide receiver 3. Cup's off the board. Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks. I needed this. Humble me real quick. Humble me real quick. If
Malik
Neighbors falls to us, that'd be
Neighbors
sick. But
it's falling, huh? Okay.
James is gonna scoop him. There's no way. Okay.
Well, no, he
Doesn't
needs
even get to
Hurts.
that
He needs
point.
Hurts. Is Hurts still available?
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, I didn't even. Good call.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna grab Hurts here. I mean, Neighbors isn't even available, so I think he would have went Hurts over Neighbors if Neighbors was even on the board, though.
See, I do find it a little limiting when you go tight end in this spot because you are forced into a box of like this needs to be a receiver.
Yeah, I do think this Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith thing is just nuts because I remember last year how many people were trying to make that combination work by taking AJ Brown at the front end of drafts just so they could get Hurts and Devonta Smith in the same team, and now you just get it for free. You don't even have to do anything. You just
The
there you go, hand it
only
off.
reason, the only reason I'm not crazy about it is because both of those guys don't hit in the same game.
It's hard, but
Keenan Allen or T. Higgs.
T Higgins. That's just what I think.
I like it. I'm cool with that. Yeah, they check how many games that both of these guys get there in the same game.
And it's even harder
And
now with Barkley because you have
I
a
would
pretty big running back now that needs to get fed too, right?
exactly. So give me the guy that does the best week 17, right? With another 3rd round pick or with another 1st round pick if it's Devonta Smith week. I think I've done it once, but other than that, and I think that's okay because you can get these guys like Smith can be a good value for where he goes. You could need AJ Brown week 17. Smith
Mhm.
could be the guy week 16. Like there are other ways to get there, but in a 1-game slate, week 17, I do think you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that whatever team they're playing that week, it's a shootout and they do get there.
Mhm.
But I think you're on
Sure.
the. I think your process of it is probably more likely, meaning the percentage of it being a game where they both go off is less than when one of them probably goes off.
Yeah.
But you do get
Hmm.
suckered into doing it. I've done it too, where I've taken Hurts, Smith, and AJ Brown.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. It looks beautiful. Like, I'd
For
be
me,
curious if
I might just be suckered into that bias of how it was last year, and people
so
like were killing people to try and get that combination to work, and now it's just so easy
someone
to do.
someone find the stats for me. How many weeks did AJ Brown and Smith finish as a wide receiver 1 in the same week? Probably just go to Fantasy Pros, game log.
Vaporware makes a good point here. He goes, but then there is the BBM2 logic. Higgins, you needed in week 16, and Chase, you
Mhm.
needed in week 17, which
Right.
is a good point.
We'll see how BBM's set up this year. It looks like it's gonna be very similar though with like it's just gonna be the 1 out of 16 or 1 out of maybe they bump it up to 1 out of 18 this year. I know there has been talks about changing that up, at least in the community. Underdog hasn't made any hints what they're gonna do.
I mean, a lot of people were also they didn't like the
Ooh.
this is a tough spot.
It's Terry for me here, especially because my Terry exposure's on the lower end. I think this is a spot where I would click him.
A lot of people were not too big of fans of the regular season prize pool, which I didn't agree because I liked it. It paid for all my BBM 4 entries. Like I did
Yeah,
well during the regular season, so
I like it.
I think it's a good way for you to try and get your money back. It's another avenue than trying to just hit the nuts and get to the finals.
It's the only form of fantasy football that actually rewards good drafting in a way. Like, you can control the regular season a little more, um, than you can, your pods in week 15, 16, 17.
Mhm.
So, I think you do realize your edge a little quicker with the regular season payouts. That does add a nice little avenue. Alright, I have it here. So, Devonta Smith finished as a wide receiver 5 overall in week 2. And AJ Brown was wide receiver 75. Okay. Here's the next one. Devonta Smith finishes wide receiver. God damn it. I have it in standard. Not that it's going to matter. He finishes wide receiver 8 week 2. And AJ Brown was still wide receiver 75. Wide receiver 9 week 8. Okay. Here it is. And AJ Brown was wide receiver 3. So there's one. Wide receiver 5 week. Was that week 11 or week 12? Week 12, and AJ Brown was wide receiver 25. And then that's it.
It
I'm
only
sorry.
takes one.
Wide receiver 11, week 13, and AJ Brown was wide receiver 19. So there is the one. Who is that against? Who is that against? It was against Washington. That's not a surprise. That's
Yeah,
not a surprise.
they had like one of the worst secondaries in the league.
And that's why I had so many San Fran pieces from last year. That week 17 matchup against Washington.
I'm interested to see what you do with this pick. There's a lot of
If
there's a
A-Rich
lot of
falls
good.
to me, I'm probably just clicking A-Rich. Okay. Skip. I'm cool with mixing over some of these pieces. I'm cool with going tight end too. This
I
is
was
close.
probably between Mixon and Pitts.
Yeah. And that's sort of the way I see it. And in this case, I think we just go mixing. On the way back around, we're also gonna like the tight ends in this range.
Hmm.
Like Now you can get Bowers at pick 80. So if I get Bowers here, I'm probably gonna like the combo of Mixon and Bowers versus Pitts and James Conner. Honestly, I like them both. I like both combos.
Yeah,
I like
same.
both combos.
I'm gonna just fill up my glass of water here since we got a little ways to
All
go.
right. I like it. No, unfortunately, we couldn't fill the biggest board. I should have known. Should have known. We'll save it for tomorrow night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys are wanting to watch that, it'll be tomorrow. Hit the bell for notifications. Jump in that room with us so we fill it. JSN goes to pick 69. JSN is someone that I didn't draft early. He was ranked red in this tier on the draft guide. Same thing with Addison. And now those are both guys that we're sort of leveraging the early drafters and getting these guys 10, 12, 15 picks after ADP and actually mixing them into our player pool in a sharper way. Three receivers followed by Lamar, Andrews, and Kamara. Let's see how James is doing. AJ Brown, Nico, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, brings in Stroud with Nico. That's sick. With Rashad White at 63. That's really nice. That's really nice. Rashad White at 63. Play ball. My God. If he felt it was a 65, that would have been a gift. But even A-Rich at 64 feels really good. I like this start for the 9 spot as well. Puka, Marvin Harrison. Like, there's a lot of unknown, but Jacobs, Kelsey, BTJ, and A-Rich.
Where are we at? What'd I miss?
Not a lot. Just like I spoke a little bit about JSN and Addison, how we both ranked them red to start the year. They're both falling right now. And I don't know about you, but on the back end, like I've gotten some shares with JSN just around pick 80. And
Same.
then Addison, in the 76 to 78 range. I've been starting to at least mix them into my player pool just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm cool with scooping them when you get them at a discount.
4% JSN, that's 5 shares. And then Addison, 7 shares, 5%.
Where are you at with your entries for this contest?
I'm at like 124.
Oh, so you're pretty close.
This is actually number 126.
You're pretty close to being finished.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, some of these tight ends going off the board. I would like Bowers here, but we don't need him actually with Laporta. Let's put off tight end. D-Hop goes.
Got to be a running back here. It's Pollard or Connor for me.
Would have loved to get Burrow back in this spot, but that's why I feel like Bowers is actually the click here.
Even Kyler interests me in this range.
We're gonna stop at 2 tight ends here, but does Bowers open up a potential, Chargers landing spot, pair that with Herbert or, wherever you think he's going to go. Jets, you can pair it with Rodgers. And then maybe you bring in like Mike Williams.
Jets would be interesting. I mean, I think Conklin's a pretty decent tight end, though. I don't know if that's the area they need to develop on. I mean,
Minigram?
Chargers for sure. Chargers for sure could use him.
Andrew in the house. What's going on, man? Said didn't mean to snipe you there. Just decided to go with a different build I don't usually do. So Andrew is in.
Did he
Where's
take
Andrew?
Joe Burrow?
Right here. Ah, dude. You paired it with Chase. You're good.
Yeah.
I sort of expected
No shame in
that.
doing that.
Nah, dude. You could stop at 2 QBs with this.
And it's
When I
nice.
can stop at
He's
2
got Lamar
QBs.
with Andrews. Like, yeah, his stacks are perfect.
Yeah. One player I'm not touching. I don't even know if I've drafted a single share. Not even auto. Oh, we have a small board share. Tragic 0.7% Alvin Kamara. I'm just taking the bet that it's another year of him not being efficient on the ground. Maybe Kendra eats into the workload just a little more than last year. And I just like the surrounding guys, some of the guys that go later. I think that's really the bet that I'm making.
I mean, at this point, his best case scenario might be on the Saints. Like, a lot of teams have I don't know
It
what other
is.
teams like he could go to that it's like, all right, now I need to start getting Kamara. Like, what teams really are in need of a player like him?
Hmm.
I guess the Cowboys. If he goes to the Cowboys, it's probably the best case, but I don't see that happening.
I think we're gonna box ourselves at QB again, so this will be fun to get out of. Maybe we go like Goff, Drake May. Maybe we get like Jaden Daniels. But it sucks because we have to catch up at RB and
I
James
like
is.
I like the Williams reach here.
I think it makes sense in this spot.
It's that or a quarterback. I mean, getting Dak is good value, but I'm really fine with taking Mike Williams here.
I like Mostert over. I like a lot of these players over Mike Williams in, you know, without taking like our team construction into consideration. But I think that's the trap pick. Like if we go RB here, I think we get trapped because we also need a touch at QB and we also need receivers. And in this range of like, I like receivers that go here. We can always go like 2 RBs, 3 RBs in a row in this range too.
Yeah. I'm
But we need to
so out
catch
on
up at
Mostert, by
QB.
the way. Like, I was so in on
That's
him last season,
crazy.
and I'm like
That's
0. I'm
crazy.
0% of Mostert this season.
But
Dude, the
why?
writing
Do
is
you
on the
think do
wall.
you
Like, dude, where A-Chan's being drafted. He's a second round pick. Like,
Mhm. What do you
clearly
think
everybody
you think the timeshares there?
I would hope it's like probably 70%. If you're drafting Achan in the second round, you better hope it's like 70%
But
Achan.
will it be? Will they use a chance 70% early on too?
Why take him in the second round if you don't think it's going to be in that range?
Because he doesn't need a full workload to get there. He can get there on 12 to 15 touches. I think
Yeah,
that's now if he gets 15 touches a game this year versus like the 12 touch range, like what Gibbs was sort of getting for the majority, the first 3 quarters of the season last year, that 10 to 12 touch range.
yeah.
Um, I think
I
he
don't know.
could sort of be in trouble for this ADP, but you're paying for the home runs that he can hit on any touch.
Yeah, Mostert's another year older though. He's up there in age, man. He's it's just something to consider. That's what I've been thinking about.
21 touchdowns.
Yeah, but guess what? I
What
could
if
I could go look at Jamal Williams touchdowns and then look at the next season. I
hmm,
mean,
how many touches do you think they give Mostert a game? Like just on the ground. You don't have to calculate receiving work's going to be probably less this year, I would think.
10.
Okay. And those 10 touches in Miami, is that worth more than 13 touches for Brian Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, it could be for sure.
Who's the next RB off the board? How about Javonte Williams? I don't know if that's someone
I'm
that you're
all,
even clicking.
I just stay away from Denver running backs, like all of them.
Let's say Vegas brings in a running back because they're going to draft someone,
Like, dude, give me Zamir White who could get 20 touches in a game
but it's not guaranteed. It's not
for in
guaranteed.
terms of the game script or
Yeah,
like
he has to
the
survive the draft, in my
yeah
opinion.
that too.
Uh, do we have to go Goff here? Can we push him? This team has 0 QBs. These guys have 2. This guy has 1. It's just we got a few badgeless people behind us.
It's Jacoby or Goff, but does Jacoby really do anything as the fifth receiver?
We have to go Goff here. I don't
Yeah,
trust the badgeless. I don't trust the badgeless.
yeah.
I'm also cool if we get someone like Josh Downs too. So we have a few options here. I'll add these guys to the player pool.
I
Josh
don't know.
Downs
I mean,
goes
dude, some
to
of the
the A Rich team.
some of my takes are just gut feeling. Like I don't
Mm.
necessarily know if I'm going to be right or wrong on Mostert, but
What?
I was right. I
Yeah,
thought last year on him, and I think this year he's going to start taking a step behind Achan, and I think Achan could just open up the floor there in Miami and just dissolve Mostert's role. to a point where
Mostert
I don't
can,
want him, but
yeah. Mostert can afford to take a step behind though. Like he's going in this range of like uncertainty. Like there's uncertainty behind Nick Chubb. There's uncertainty behind the splits in Chicago. Like I'm not so certain that Swift is going to go in and get 80% of the share workload with the two other RBs. Now, if we get a trade with like Khalil Herbert or something in the draft day, that'd be sick.
Mhm.
I think after James Conner, there is a tier break, but Mostert goes in this range of uncertainty. Like, how are they going to use Eckler,
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, even? So I think the price is correct. It's not like he shot up to pick 40 or 50 this year after scoring those, whatever, 20 plus touchdowns.
You still might be able to get Jacoby here. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, it's Jacoby or Brian Robinson too. I'm almost tempted to just go B-Rob here.
Yeah, I honestly I
And
think it's pretty close.
then we can double tap receiver at 128.
I think it's pretty close, to be honest, between the both of them. So
Let's go Myers here. I think it's going to be tough to get two guys we like in this range to fall back to us.
mhm.
This is just like I'm skipping like a lot of this range here.
Yeah, like Coleman, I'm out on. Rashid, I'm out on. Like you said, Curtis should be in consideration, but again, his ADP started off so crazy at this point in this contest that it's like hard for me to stomach his ADP now.
Mhm. I think on the way back around, what pick? 137. Where's the Garrett Wilson team? He's to our right. If we want Rodgers, it's going to have to be, well, if he passes on him at 134, we could probably pass on Rodgers at 137. That's sort of the way I see this one going. Because if he's going to grab Rodgers, we're not doing it here at 128. So he'll have two shots at him here at 131, 134. If we pass on him at 137, we should be able to push him to 152. It's only 6 picks after ADP. This is going to
Mhm.
be interesting. I'm okay with risking it too.
Yeah. I'll also say this: the beautiful thing about fantasy football is you're entitled to like have your own opinions. It's fine if I have my opinion and somebody else
Mhm.
has a different opinion on a player, but in my opinion, that's the beautiful thing about it.
Dude, and you can have 2 separate opinions and both be correct too. It's
Yeah.
like the thought process, as long as the thought process makes sense and you're maybe leveraging the other side of that thought process to like really hit on your take, when you are correct on both of those things, like that's when you unlock like a lot of upside.
That's
This
what makes
team's
fantasy
just like
football so fun.
this is the no fun team so far. How do we make this team fun? Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels does seem fun.
We could go Jahan Dotson too, and then
No,
bring in like Drake May.
he doesn't scream fun.
Yeah, but then we have the double stack with Washington, and then maybe bring in Drake May. Drake May goes
Okay.
to Washington.
I see the logic now. Okay. I'm starting to see it.
I have
I'm
to go
starting to see
Chase
the fun.
Brown here though first. I have to. I got the 19 picks after ADP. I can't skip on that. The spoon came out.
I'm just worried about Zach Moss there for him. Like, I'd almost want rather take a shot at Gus, even though I don't think Gus is the final answer. Like, I do think they're gonna bring in somebody to complement Gus. But
Yeah. I
for
think
now,
Gus could be I think Gus is a good advance rate piece where like he's going to be able to fill in certain teams. I think 127 is too expensive. Like this is like the overpriced price tag. This is the fake Gucci right here. This is fake Gucci because the second they draft someone, he falls. The second they draft someone, he falls. So why
yeah,
overpay right now?
even like if they brought in a guy like Jalen Wright, like
He
yeah,
falls.
Gus falls.
So this price when he started is awesome. Like he's gonna be great for advanced race because he's probably gonna score 8 touchdowns and He's going to finish with whatever 4 yards per carry. But his ceiling for like a week 17, here we go. This guy, 12 spot, loves to kill our fun. Here it is again. Let us live. Now maybe it is Jane Daniels. It's probably Rodgers. All right. We're going to do it. We're going to probably, let's not mess around. We can go Rodgers here if, yeah, the Garrett Wilson team passed on him. I think in order for us to like this squad, Bowers goes to the Jets. We have the Mike Williams Bowers stack. We can also bring in Drake May on the way back around at basically at ADP, and that's our 3 QBs.
I would definitely be on a 3 quarterback here for sure. And I also I also like doing 3 quarterbacks with Rodgers just because of injury issues, and I don't want to be left with just Goff in case Rodgers. I know it's a negative way to think, but
no, it's last year is going to be. It's going to be in the back of everyone's mind while they're drafting, and we saw that impact early into the draft season when normal dudes, normal drafters were taking 4 QBs, and it's like, all right, guys, like there's a slim chance we see 14 QBs get hurt again this year.
Right.
In a lot of those like sharp takes from last year, a lot of sharp, I know James was on it, like give me 3 or 4 QBs with the last 4 rounds on the big board. And a lot of those QBs either got hurt or underperformed or got benched. Sam Howell, Ritter, like all those guys had starting jobs to start. And some of them were good values. Like Howell was a great value. He was a great advance rate piece, but he didn't play week 17, right? Or did he? I know he didn't play week 16. He came back. Let me peek that.
He was benched and then he ended up starting again.
I don't know if he finished those games against San Fran. I think he did play the full game, but week 16 he didn't. But yeah, some of those pieces, like in the late round QBs, the uncertainty, is it still there? Like Smith has Howell behind him now. I think that helps Gino, in my opinion. Derek Carr seems relatively safe right now.
Carr in like his range is probably the best quarterback to click
for advance rates, right? Just strict value.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Russell Wilson was that guy until they add Justin Fields. The people that were celebrating their shares of Russell Wilson stopped. I think they only had like 12 hours to celebrate that.
Yeah, I just can't click either of those guys. But I mean, Russell, I guess, give me him because of his ADP. But
Drake may off the board.
I do think Fields will end up being the guy there. I would think based on his talent. I don't know. I would stay away from Pittsburgh quarterbacks.
Damn.
Both of those guys. You're gonna end up with one of them that's not starting. That's how
Roman Wilson click, man. Dagger. I'm cool with just going RB with this click. Shit. Should we go Staffy?
Yeah, because Kyron's a receiving back.
I love
he
that.
catches balls. I'd say go Stafford. I also don't like these Denver running backs whatsoever.
Okay. We'll go Staffy. Dude, the one spot just with the random Drake May click at 145. This is someone that fell to like 186 on the biggest board live stream to an auto drafter. It was probably like 170 something. It was like the most he could have fallen after ADP, and then the guy went 2 full rounds.
We can even still get a guy like Demarcus Robinson for free.
I know. The Roman Wilson click, this is killer. I would have loved to bring in Roman there, but we're still going to end up bringing in a bunch of rookies with this team. I just think RBs fall off after this range. Like I like to get one more in this range. and then we can just bring in a bunch of rookie receivers, and then basically what, like you said, Demarcus Robinson,
Hmm.
and then this team's a wrap. We probably need one more RB to pair in with this group. So three. It's gonna be like a 3-5-9
Yeah, three,
or 10.
three,
It'll depend if
six,
we go 5 or
maybe
6
three, three,
RBs.
6, 9, 3, 6, 9 too. Does that add up?
Yeah. All right. Give us one of these guys. Jalil's off the board. Douglas off the board. This your boy. This your boy. Kendrick. I have to go Tyler Algier over Braylon Allen. It's in my DNA.
I was getting blinded by the outside.
Light fell in. All right. We went Algier here. He's my third highest drafted player this offseason. What's crazy, in my exposures, out of my top 6 players, 5 of them are running backs. So really took a stance at RB this season. And then my most drafted player is Darnell Mooney at receiver.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Dude, he was free, man. He was free.
No,
He goes
it's
at 160.
it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing to have.
Braylon Allen at 162, Gibson at 164. Gibson, fun fact, is my highest drafted player. And you saw, like, we drafted him last draft. Like, I still don't mind him in his range if you're building around him correctly.
Yeah. What's your highest percentage? What is it? What's the exact number?
Antonio Gibson, 32.7.
Okay.
I
Mine's
only
I
have
think
2 players in 30%.
mine's about 57%, I think.
Yeah. See, I just can't I can't get up there even if I wanted to. Just because can you for certain in a range, say in a single game slate that player is going to outscore the other players on that single game slate? Now, if we're talking
No.
about cash games, I think you can. I would be more in tuned to going 50% plus on players in a range because you're going over the span of 17 weeks.
Hmm.
Whereas in the tournaments, the deep field tournaments, a single game slate where week 17 matters more than anything else, can one of those guys in that range sneak ahead? It's just tougher for me to get there.
Yeah, if it's gonna be a player that's like a high exposure like that, like for me, it should be like a player that's not gonna affect your team like in the slightest, like a last round pick.
Mhm. I agree with that.
Because if you were 57% on Puka, I mean, come on, your teams were so alive, more than
Yeah,
likely.
you were yeah, you had crazy advance rates. I like Wandell here. I like Wandell.
Same. I
Okay.
think you do it.
I I didn't know what the Giants guy was gonna say. I didn't know what the Giants guy was gonna say.
I have a good amount of Wandell, man.
Alright.
He's one of those kind of players that's as much as I don't like Daniel Jones, he's a gadget guy. He doesn't necessarily need awesome play from Jones like the way they utilize him. Like meaning his route tree is kind of quarterback
Mhm.
friendly.
Mhm. I sort of see his outlook
The only
close
downside
to
is what rookie comes in and what
yeah,
that does to his target share. But
right.
outside of that, like I think he's the best player on the team for
And
now.
that's why I think Mooney sort of makes sense ahead of Wandale, right? You already know where he is. You know he's the third favorite target on the team, and you know he has a good throwing QB, whereas Wandale should be definitely a full round plus behind Mooney because of you're assuming they're going to draft a receiver.
Hmm.
Um, so he's going to become the second or third favorite target potentially on the team.
He's the
And
second best receiver with like a guy like Rome. He's definitely
Oh,
ahead of Hyatt. So, and
yeah,
Waller might not even be a Giant. So it's going to be probably like a rookie like Rome and Wandell,
dude,
and Hyatt will be the third guy on the team. That's
dude,
that's
crazy.
that's that's the receiver
Of,
room.
of all the injuries Darren Waller has sustained in his career, heading to the Giants, playing for the Giants was the worst injury. It made the man want to retire. All right, Deshaun Watson at 180, dude. This guy's scooping on the back end. What a scoop! 22
Yeah,
picks.
sometimes you just let the draft come to you.
It's an easy game.
Yeah.
Who do you like in this spot?
I mean, you know who I'm clicking, bro. You already know. Come on. Don't even play with me, man.
What'd your percent get to? What'd you finish off with?
57%. He's my highest
He's your
owned
best.
highest owned.
That makes sense.
Mostly like 180 to 200 range. But you can't have any fun cuz Eagles knows what's up.
Damn.
Dude, it feels good when a sharp drafter also takes the player that you like.
I'm cool with going estimate here. Someone that was being drafted around what 150 early on.
Yeah, or Corley.
I
Honestly,
like the
I
Corley
like
click
Corley
as
better
well.
personally because
But
Esteem had such a shitty combine, and Corley,
I gotta go estimate here. I just don't love the RBs late. Like, who are we gonna be looking at? Like Shipley, Tank,
yeah.
Kenneth.
I mean, you gotta hope he rebounds. I mean, on tape and his height, weight, and all that stuff is great.
Yeah, and I think I saw something that his pro day he looked a little faster, and then I like pulled up the video. I'm like, does he? Like, you have to like really to find an angle. You have to find a different angle.
I mean, Eddie Lacy was good.
A landing spot's gonna matter for this dude. Like, he could be dead. A lot of these guys could be dead in the water. Estimate could be really extra dead if he doesn't get the landing spot. I think
Hmm.
he's going to be one of the more landing spot dependent guys. If he goes
Right.
to a team where it's like, hey, we need you for 8 touches a game and 4 of those are going to be at the goal line, like,
Yeah. Maybe like an AJ Dillon role on a team.
yeah, yep. He's not going to be a huge spike week guy. You're hoping this guy falls in the end zone. You want him to get a goal line role on a team. That's the goal.
A lot of quarterbacks here.
And we need these guys off the board. And we're hoping to get, I would say, 2 of these 3
Yeah.
would be ideal for us
Yeah.
on the way back around.
Yeah. We need some youth here.
Super balanced squad. We don't overly we don't have a ton of upside at QB. We did have to make these reaches though. I don't think we could have if we don't get Goff here, it's
I think your
tragic.
your quarterback room to me is perfectly fine. Like I
Yeah.
like those three guys in my quarterback room. I take them any day of the week.
And what's funny, it's like we got Myers at pick 104, right? Like basically at ADP, and then it's like we got Goff at pick 113.
Yeah, you swapped it around, but you made sure to get your stack, which is the more important part of the
Right,
draft.
right. We're elite at tight end. Our running backs, like it's a balanced group. We get a nice slow fall on Chase Brown, 18 picks. We get Kyron at pick 17, which I like that. I like that. And then receivers are fine.
Yep.
We're fine.
It sucks that
Adding
all
some
these
rookies here.
quarterbacks are still on the board. Nobody wants any of them, but Baker's good too.
Hoping we get one of these guys on the way back. If not, can add Jalen McMillan to this group too. And then we do have the Demarcus Robinson. We can talk about it. Probably go Demarcus over McMillan.
Yeah, I would agree. I would try and get like DeMarcus to fall to us. Like I don't see the upside of a team taking him if you don't have Stafford.
Same. I entirely agree with that. If you guys are still with us, go down, slap the like on the live stream. We're gonna be doing. I'll be drafting. If Nick wants to join me, he's more than welcome to. I'm gonna be drafting that biggest board tomorrow when we know it can fill. That's gonna be at 8:15 p.m. So make sure you have your notifications on for that one.
That's a tough contest to like predict, man. To like jump in and hope it fills for a
Dude,
stream. Like you, I don't know. I think you almost have
I've
to like
been lucky.
you have to
I've been
you have to
lucky.
sit in it, and then once you know it's close, then you go live. But
Yeah.
to just go live and be like, all right, let's hope this thing fills. I think that's tough to do.
If you get it and there's like 3 spots, 5 spots even, I can just make a couple tweets out and get it filled, but 10 spots is I knew it
Yeah,
was gonna be
your
rough.
your power doesn't go that far.
No, no. Plus, I don't wanna draft with all pounders. It's we're all at a disadvantage.
Yeah, we all know too much information about each other and what players we like.
Everyone Ooh, here we go. He likes Rondell. I love that.
Fourth option, maybe fifth.
It's tough. We
He's a
don't
good
know how
player.
it's gonna we don't know how it's gonna shake up. He hasn't done it in previous years when he's had opportunities. So I'm steering clear of the click. I'd rather go a rookie in this range, but
Yeah.
um especially for our squad too, like where we already have vets, we have plenty of experience on this team. I'd rather just bring in the unknown with one of these receivers.
By the way, Eagles is just onslaughting his team. Like I don't know how many Philadelphia players he has. It's a lot.
What would make you think he would be drafting Eagles? What would make you think that?
He's got Gainwell. He's got two receivers. He's got Hurts. I
Oh
think he
wow.
has Goddard.
You wanna go Baker over Burton?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm dude, he's got Goddard. He's got Smith, AJ Brown, Gainwell.
Mm.
Gainwell's an interesting take. I mean,
It makes more sense this year than it does last.
it makes more sense with Barkley.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so because they shouldn't touch at RB again and Barkley
As, you're
you're
so
just
you're saying
hoping for an
strictly
injury.
as a handcuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
That's all you're getting in this range. Like Tank Bigsby, maybe he gets a couple more touches a game, but
hmm
I like the Tank click too in this range. Tank and I think Tank Gainwell are fine. Israel Abanikanda is a good handcuff. These are all handcuff guys. You're not getting guys that are getting 10 carries, 10 touches a game.
Just
Um,
wait until the J.K. Dobbin news. Just we gotta wait. We gotta be patient. All of us that have like 20+% of this guy, we're just hanging on, hoping.
yeah, you're hoping, all right. I could see him sign somewhere favorable based on, the teams that can afford him. He's
He's
not going to be
gonna
able
be
to
cheap.
demand. Yeah, he's not going to be able to demand money. So maybe he does end up in a favorable situation on a team that, like Dallas, that doesn't want to probably spend at RB.
That's what I'm
So I
hoping
could
for.
see it. I could see it. However, I could also see him coming back and just not being the same.
Yeah, that's the inherited risk of drafting him, unfortunately. But
Yeah. I think we can go a 6 running back with this group. If Tank makes it back to us, he is the preferred click. Demarcus Robinson off at 219. After he goes off, are you clicking Tutu at all? Or
no,
after they re-sign Demarcus Robinson, that's pretty much like the stamp, like Tutu, you're not the guy.
just the way that the season ended and how much like Robinson really took over that role behind Cup and Puka to me, like kind of
Mhm.
solidified his role over Tutu. So for me, like Robinson is like kind of like the fun click if you want a piece of that offense, and then 2-2 for me is just kind of out.
Dude, so we actually get Tank here. I know
Nice,
McMillan goes, but I'd probably rather Tank.
thank you. I think now
Yeah.
we can actually stop and maybe grab a rookie receiver dart.
Oh, yeah, and it's gonna be a dart. Alright, I like Thrash as a dart. He's gone. I'm not really clicking Brendan Rice. I would actually rather his teammate. Is that crazy?
I think
Taj
so,
Washington. Taj Washington.
but there are a lot of Taj stands, so I have a
Are
lot
there?
of Rice. I think so. I've seen him drafted quite a bit. Yeah,
Cowing's name?
Cowing is a
Cowing's
guy that I love too.
yeah, A.T. Perry's off the board. Trey Tucker, he was a round 6 guy, but he's fast.
Cowing's fast. Cowing's also very fast.
Oh, dude.
Dude, get off
I
Mark.
I can't, man. I can't. I can't. He's like the Mooney click for me now. Although I'm not even close to where it was. I'm at 8%. I'm at 8% Parker Washington, all right? So I don't have a problem. Not yet,
Maybe even like I don't know, Johnny Wilson. It seems more fun than Parker Washington.
bro. Taj Washington, man.
All right, I'm in. I mean, look, dude, all
I'm
these
hoping
guys.
Brendan
There's
Rice
there's
goes
there's
off.
unknowns. There's unknowns for all these guys, so no one's gonna be
Yeah.
100% right.
What was I gonna pull up? I'm gonna pull up the Rams.
Snap count.
Yeah. I just added it to the wrong thing. There we go. Sorry for blinding. So at the end, yeah, he was playing 86, 95, 93, 92% of snaps, and
And then I
2-2
don't know what
fell
happened
off
week
the
18,
planet.
but week 18 maybe he was banged up, and then 2-2 had to fill in for him. But look, I mean, to
Looks like
market.
Cup didn't play. It was one of those weeks where I think the backups played. It didn't
And
matter for them
and
week
not only
18.
was he getting snaps, he was getting like a decent fantasy score too. You know what I mean? It's one thing to get snaps, but he also was doing pretty well. Like he was pretty efficient.
I'm gonna bring in Taj here. We
Okay.
can afford to take a dart.
I like it, man. I think the team is pretty well balanced.
Yeah, the QB room's not sexy, but
Doesn't have to be.
You it doesn't have to be. If you get a flat scoring week at QB, and surprisingly, like, Goff had some really good high finishes last year at QB.
You should be guaranteed 20 points every week at a
We can
minimum.
pull this up. Where's the Goff, the Goffinator? Pull up the game log. Obviously, he doesn't do it for us the week of the Dog Bowl, but here's one
Yeah, we don't
top
talk about it.
6, 4, 4, 8, 11, finishes QB1, QB6. So he does have it in his realm of possibilities to finish as a top 5 QB
Yeah.
in any
His
given week.
his his worst game was the game that we had him all year. 8.4 points. I mean, come on.
Against Chicago too. Against Chicago. Tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic.
It was just too cold out for Goff.
It was too cold. Someone that plays for Detroit. Let me pull up I'll pull up our team. I'll pull up Eagles team. I don't think anyone else was in that one with us. I think that's why it sort of went so smooth. Hurts and Stroud, I like that he stopped at 2 there. Schultz and Goddard, I think this is fine. I would probably prefer a third though in a 20-round draft, but in an 18-round draft, you're definitely stopping at 2 here.
Mhm.
White at pick 63 though. Like that's gross.
Well,
That's
we did
sick.
we did that. We passed on him. So that's partially our
But
fault.
we passed on him for who?
A receiver, Terry.
But we needed what we're gonna do. Grab our second RB before having a wide receiver 3 through like 5 rounds because
Right.
we went Laporta. If we don't go QB here, I think that's why it's so limiting to go QB in that or tight end in that spot
Yeah.
because you're forced into a box of like, okay, if there's a falling value, especially if it's at RB. Like it's really difficult to
Yeah, it's
go
hard to
that way.
navigate.
Harris, Connor, Ford, Miller. I like this RB room. Like I mess with this whole RB room, and then the value here is awesome. AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Devonta Smith, Rashid Shaheed, Quentin Johnson, Rashad Bateman, Traylon Burks, A.T. Perry, Devontae Parker. So not really. He likes one rookie. He brings in Ray Davis as his only rookie. What are your thoughts on just like Baltimore? They bring in Reynolds just for like a tryout, but what's that say about Bateman? Is that like is that a sign that Bateman isn't there number 2 potentially next year?
If Reynolds comes in to that room, I think it knocks Bateman down. But there are, I think, a lot of believers in Bateman because he was a guy that was supposed to be doubted as a prospect and could be a guy for them. He just hasn't done it yet because of health
Yeah.
concerns, and so I think there's still believers in him. But Reynolds, to me, I think he's the better player.
Ryan, welcome. What
And then Burks,
Ryan Bobo.
Burks, I'm so far out on. I mean, I was out on him from the start, but now with Ridley and Hopkins, like I just can't draft Burks.
I want to say Ryan. So Ryan's just joining us live right now. He said, I was in there, just joined, and
It's
now
got to
I
be
want to
Bobo
say it's got to be Bobo Baggins, right?
with a
Dak,
username like that. Come on,
Dak, Caleb, and Bryce Young. I think that's pretty balanced. Kincaid, Ferguson, Komet. This is a strong tight end room.
yeah.
Hall, Wright, Dowdle. Oh, the zero. It's hero RB with Hall, Wright, Dowdle, Sanders, Israel Banaconda, J.K. Dobbins. I do think the J.K. pick makes sense in this room because you need you need the ultimate upside landing spot and health to
But
sort of
he's also limiting his upside because he's got two handcuffs with
'cause
Israel and Deuce. So you're
mhm.
automatically you only have four running backs at a given time.
If that's if he lands in Dallas. Yeah, so you're taking away one of those upside landing spots by doing that. I
No,
agree.
he has Rico and Deuce. If
Yeah.
Dobbins goes to Dallas, he has three running backs on Dallas, not just two.
Right. Um, it's interesting. You're basically hoping like Dowdle becomes a starter or someone that's getting 10 touches plus a game in Dallas, and then you're getting a different landing spot for Dobbins. But um, I'm not clicking much, dudes. I think just finding a different click with this, and I'm cool with this room for hero RB.
Mhm.
Dallas has to touch it RB. Like if it's not free agency, which they haven't
It's
made a single
pointing.
move,
It's if they don't get like a guy like Dobbins, like it's pointing to like a guy like Jonathan Brooks,
Brooks.
who they can develop and get him healthy, and then Rico can kind of just hold the room until Brooks is time to shine, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really pointing towards Jonathan Brooks right now. And that's why I've sort of stayed at that 8% range. I think I'm at 9 right now on Jay
Right.
Brooks. And he's fallen. He falls to like 130 sometimes. And well, it's Devontae Adams, Pittman, Keenan Allen, Reed, Christian Watson, Cooks, and Adam Thielen. I can't do the Adam Thielen click, especially not at ADP.
Same.
Um, after they bring in Deontay Johnson, they're bringing in Deontay Johnson to be young Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
More efficient Adam Thielen. So if his target share takes a hit, pick 163. Like there's still a good range of receivers that I like in this spot.
Yeah. Same here.
Like who goes? I would rather Ricky. Oh my god. If this was Ricky, I like this room a lot more.
I would take Ricky for sure over old man Thielen.
But then would you ride with just these two QBs and make this? I feel like he needs one more running back earlier, just one, wherever that is. Maybe it's stopping at Kincaid and Ferguson.
I'm I'm perfectly fine with just a Kincaid Fergie team. So cutting Komet. I mean, maybe he trapped himself into Komet because he had Caleb
Caleb,
first, and he wanted some correlation. But
he's got
I'm
the double
fine with
stack.
yeah. So it's kind of the Komet might have been a trap, and I get the think. We both understand the thinking of it because
Mhm.
it's a stack, but I think it's a trap
Yeah.
when you could allocate it somewhere else.
Yeah. I I agree. It's the trap pick. Like you want it for the correlation, you want it for the right reasons, but does he fit the team and what your team needs?
Yeah.
Um, but I think this team's very close to being like very, very good, and it's still in it. Like hero Bill with Brees Hall is always fun.
Yeah.
We have a question from Grant. Do y'all like Thielen more on drafters? I think people are sleeping just like last year. Offense will be much better.
I mean, it doesn't really change his age. He's still going to be
It's
old, you know.
the I think
And Deontay doesn't help
he's
him.
he's a floor guy, right? He's a floor guy that lost some of those guaranteed targets to Deontay Johnson coming in. So it's also a team that could touch at receiver in this deep class. So there's also that risk. I think with all those things baked in, he should be around pick like 190 plus, maybe
Mhm.
even like 200. I think 160, 166 is just. But on drafters, would you like him more on drafters? Is the question.
I don't
Or
really.
you're
I'm not really on drafters. So I don't really. What's
It's
the
it's basically
difference?
just like it's basically like this is just like a cash game. Like, do you like him the value for the ADP? I'd probably still take a shot on a guy like Ricky, just
But
outscoring him this
but
year.
what? So is drafters like a? Is it a snake draft or are you drafting with money? I don't
It's
fully
no,
understand.
it's the same best ball, but there's no tournament play. It's just weeks 1 through 17. It's strict
Um.
regular season payouts for best ball
Oh,
mania, basically.
got it. No finals.
Right. So it's just based on like best values in that range.
So I
I don't
guess the
think he
knock
is.
on rookies is that it gives them less time to develop, pretty much. And
Mhm.
so Thielen is better in a sense that he could get more points than a rookie that might need a couple weeks to kind of get into the offense.
Right.
I mean, I don't, I don't like, I just don't like Thielen. So
Yeah.
I don't like him starting week one. I guess I could say.
Yeah, but Bubble Bags agrees. I I fall for those trap clicks, but as long as you can identify that and then improve on it and be like, all right, this is the trap pick. And then sometimes like, okay, I know what I need to come back to me. I know I need a falling value at running back. And if it doesn't come back, okay, then I'm in trouble. It's okay to take those risks sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So, but guys, tomorrow we're going to be doing the biggest board draft at 8:15 p.m. That'll be the third bullet. Hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss that one. Hit the like on the way out if you enjoyed today's stream. Make sure you give Nick a follow on the Twitter machine. And yeah, it's still only March, but we're like 150 drafts deep at this point, not
It's
counting
sick.
rookies and sophomores.
It's sick.
It's good. Nick, you got anything for the people before we head up?
Nope. Thanks for having me on, man. It was fun doing two drafts. That's a special one.
I know. I know. It's a rare 2 draft day, but guess what? We had to give the people something to get them through the workday. So appreciate everyone coming out, watching,
Hopefully
hitting the
everybody
like.
enjoyed.
Yeah. Have a good one. Nick, thank you for joining me. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Pounders.